I'm Jackie M, and everybody loves Roti Canai, and everybody asks me about that Roti Canai dip they have in Malaysia. I'm going to show you how to make that. Now, this is going to need you to pop into your local Indian grocery store, but it's going to be worth the effort. I'm just going to go through the ingredients we need. I've got some lentils here. Now, if you go into an Indian grocery store, they're going to have about 20 different types of lentils. You have to look for one that's labeled Toor Dahl, okay? Toor spelled T-O-O-R, sometimes it's just spelled T-O-R. Ask the shopkeeper and they'll be able to help you. But I find that that's the best one to use for this particular recipe. If you can't find it, doesn't matter. You can use channa dal, you can use any other type of dal really, okay? But this is what it looks like. They just look like chickpeas really, like split chickpeas. And then we've got some potatoes, okay, just your regular potatoes, and I've just cut them into chunks over here. And I've got some fenugreek over here, and mustard seeds is what I usually use. I didn't have any mustard seeds around, so I went to my local supermarket. Closest I could find was mustard powder. Okay, so we'll go with that today. And I've got some ground cumin over here, some green chilies. Again, this is something you can actually find at your Indian grocery store. Look in the freezer section for frozen green chilies. Very cheap, just big bag for less than $2. And I've got a bit of salt and tamarind extract. Okay, now tamarind extract you can find at Asian grocery stores. Again, different brands are going to have them in different concentrations, okay? So this is, you know, this could be labeled tamarind concentrate or tamarind extract, but have a look around. It just saves you having to buy the actual tamarind pulp or tamarind seed and then having to soak them in warm water and then strain them and that sort of stuff. But you can do that as well if you want. I just like shortcuts with all my cooking. And I've just got some garlic, and this is actually something that I decided to get because I was trying to keep this dish vegetarian. This is mushroom seasoning powder, and to me it's kind of like using a vegetarian stock base for your dish. I think it just gives it a nice kind of body to your dish. Okay, and I've got my usual go-to, these commercial packed fried shallots over here. And I've got some turmeric here. Again, something, in fact, you can actually find ground turmeric at your Australian supermarket, but I picked this up at my Indian grocery store. And I've got something here that's called asafoetida. I did not know as a Malaysian growing up what asafoetida was until I learned how to make this particular dish. Something you can find at your local Indian grocery store. Generally, you won't find them at your you know, Vietnamese or Chinese grocery store. But look for it, it's going to be worth it. Okay, why don't we get started? I've got a pot over here. And this is very, very easy. It's just basically throwing everything in. I'm just going to throw the dal in. This has been soaked for a couple of hours. And if you want this to cook a lot faster, you can just, in fact, pop it into a pressure cooker and pressure cook the dal just to soften it up very, very quickly. Okay, I'm throwing the water in. I'm going to need more water than that. And the potatoes. I've just popped the potatoes in. They're raw because they're going to take about the same amount of time that the lentils will to soften up. Okay, I'm just adding a bit more water to this, and the turmeric's just gone in here. Now you want the final product to be quite liquid, quite watery. So I've put in quite a lot of water to cover all the ingredients in there. But during the cooking process, if you think it's too dry, just add more water to it. Because it's a dip, you do want a little bit of a, you know, you want it to be almost kind of like a thin soup consistency at the end. And I've just thrown the chilies in, and for this particular dish, it's fine to keep them whole. So I've got the tamarind concentrate. I'm just going to throw some of the other spices in together just to mix it up into a paste, and I'm going to add it to the pot. Okay, I'm just adding all the different spices into the tamarind concentrate. I've got the garlic, the asafoetida, the ground cumin, and the mushroom seasoning here. Okay, so I'm just mixing this in together. If you don't want to use mushroom seasoning, that's fine. You can just use salt. In fact, the original recipe just called for salt. I just think that it adds an extra dimension to the dish. And finally, at the end, I'm just gonna throw in some diced tomato. This is canned diced tomato. You can, of course, use fresh tomatoes, but I'm cheating here because I like my shortcuts. So we've thrown everything in. We're just going to let this simmer for maybe about 45 minutes and just keep adding water to it if you think it's drying up too quickly. And we'll come back and show you what it looks like at the end. So back to the dal. This has been cooking for about an hour on a low simmer. I've been adding water to it as it cooks, because I don't want it to dry up too much. Now I'm just going to throw in some of my commercial fried shallots in here and just mix it through. Bring it back to a boil and you're ready to go. And here's some roti canai that I've cooked up separately. I'm just going to clap it just to give it that puffed up effect.